Welcome, everybody. This is CJ from Sogo-Kaku. Today, we're going to be going over Deep Jewels 40 that happened last weekend at Shinjuku Face in Tokyo, Japan. To review the show, I am joined by Andrew from the We Are Rizin Podcast. And we briefly have Sarah with us to talk about her fight and maybe to get to know her a little better. You guys might remember her from the Sarah versus Sarah matchup that happened a couple months ago. So, Andrew, how are you doing? Welcome to the show.
I'm doing okay. Excuse me. I'm doing okay. I feel a little bit sick. I feel like everybody's getting sick now. It's that time of the season. But and also I apologize that I can't get my video to work. But other than that, pretty good. Doing pretty good here.
Now, what's the sickness? Here. What sickness do you have over there, Andrew? It sounds like the booze flu, maybe.
No, the booze flu. No, just I think it's just a seasonal something. I feel like everybody I know has like something, just like they feel sick or they are sick. Just what they have is whatever it is. Do you ever know that feeling when like you're sick but you don't know what it is?
No. I'm sorry, I can't relate to that feeling. What about you, Sarah? Can you relate to that?
No.
That might just be you, my friend.
I don't think it's just me. It's an American thing. It's an American thing where you're like you're sick and whatever you have, you can't explain it. You just have something.
Yeah. All right, I'll take your word for it. So, well, it's fitting that we have Sarah here at the top of the show, though, because she was actually in the opening fight of Deep Jewels 40. And for those that aren't familiar, the way that Deep Jewels shows kind of go down is before the opening ceremony, they usually have an amateur fight. And for this event, it was Sarah, and she took on, I'm drawing a blank. She took on
Momoko Yoshikawa,
who had her first win in the event before this. So she had a little bit of heat coming with her. And Yoshikawa is actually a pretty popular fighter. She has a ton of sponsors and stuff. And for those that don't know, Sarah beat her. You beat her with a rear naked choke.
Yeah, I did. It was my first submission win.
So. Yeah. I've seen you fight a couple times, and looking at you on Topology, it looks like maybe you come from like a striking background a little bit.
I guess, yeah, you could say that, but basically I started with kickboxing, but I did it like 1 or 2 years, not even. Yeah, 1.5 years, and I had my first fight. And after that, I went into MMA already, so.
What got you interested in kickboxing?
At first, it was just like, I was trying to lose weight. If you see my social media, I eat a lot. And I was trying to lose weight, so I went to the mids classes at a gym near my place. And yeah, I was not interested in like competing at all. Like I thought I would never do that, but yeah, the more I trained, the more interesting it got, and yeah, I tried it and I won, and then I was all in.
Very cool. So when was the switch from kickboxing to MMA? When did that happen?
Oh, it was after my first fight, so summer 2019. I wasn't training MMA or like any grappling at that time, but after the kickboxing classes at my gym, there's always the MMA class afterwards, and I sat and watched it a lot of times, so I already was interested in it, but I didn't have the courage to actually do it until after the fight.
Very cool, very cool. And how's it feel coming off that first submission win?
Great. I was working on back control and back, like the rear naked choke, the finish, for like the past like a few months, and I was really confident if I get the back, I would get the finish, or at least like not let her escape anymore. So yeah,
that's interesting. So we just obviously we follow some fighters on social media, and I've actually seen you pop up on like I think maybe Kate Lotus or Seika Izawa's. Do you train at K-Clan or something?
No.
I thought I saw you with the. I thought I saw you training. Where do you train? Can you talk about that?
I train at mostly at my gym at Fight Base Toritsudai, under Sato Shoko, who was a former Shuto champion. But I started to go to Crazy Bee once a week, and I train there sometimes. But and also I train at Sakaguchi Dojo, where the Momoko Yamazaki-san trains. She was also on the card.
Yeah, she's quite popular as well. She kind of has that old Yankee image going with her.
Exactly.
Very cool. So what's it like training at Crazy Bee? They seem to have put together a pretty strong women's team recently.
I only train with two people, like the Miyu-san, and there's another boxer who started kickboxing, and yeah, it's super high level. Like she's called May-san. She I think she was trying to box on Olympic level, but yeah, super high level boxing. And Miyu-san is, of course, her wrestling is crazy on crazy level. So I have a wrestler and a boxer that I train with, which is great.
Is her name like Mei Yasuda or something?
I actually don't know her last name.
Is she pretty tall?
No.
Like that might be someone different.
Yeah.
Interesting. So what are your goals in the future? Do you think you're going to turn pro soon? Are you coming off of a pretty win over Momoko, who's kind of like a pretty popular big name amateur in Deep Jewels right now?
Yeah. I'm not rushing to become a professional fighter yet. Like, I think I want to have a few more amateur fights because I'm not confident that I could beat a judoka or a wrestler yet. Like, even the last fight that I lost against Sarah, she didn't have a lot of technique, but she was physically strong, extremely strong. That's why I pulled guard. But I couldn't do anything. Like I got I got close with a triangle and an armbar, but yeah, I think if she can like escape with physical strength, then judokas and wrestlers could too. So I'm trying to sharpen the weapons more.
That seems pretty smart because
Yeah,
once you go pro, you can't take those losses off your record. So you
exactly.
shouldn't go pro until you're comfortable. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Interesting. And okay. And so I'm glad you brought up the Sarah fight because we talked about that a lot. I think Andrew and I used to joke about the Sarah versus Sarah fight quite a bit.
Yeah.
And from you, how should we tell you two apart? Like name wise?
Name wise, oh, yeah. Yeah, let's just for now go with short hair Sarah, and and once we both are professional fighters, we'll do the rematch and fight for the name.
I mean, I'll offer a suggestion. I did look at your Instagram as we were coordinating this, and as you said, you do eat a lot. Like you eat. I was pretty jealous. It looks like you went and ate a bunch of delicious food recently.
Yeah.
Should we call you Foodie Sarah or Short Hair Sarah?
Yeah, you can call me the female version of Paddy Pimblett. That's what I am.
So is it? Are you doing Patty style weight cuts before fights?
Kinda. I gained a lot of weight after the fight.
No, I don't know if you saw it,
Yeah.
Andrea, but she has like a food Instagram. And did you go to like Kansai? Is that what it looks like?
Oh yeah, I was in Osaka the past week.
She ate. I clicked on the story, and it's just like picture after picture of amazing food. Meanwhile,
And
I'm
that
up
was
here in
all
Yokohama
of
eating
it, you know.
nothing. What was the best thing you had down there?
Oh, the okonomiyaki.
Mhm.
I waited in a queue for an hour, but it was worth it.
Was it like a famous place?
Yeah, I think it had 2 Michelin stars.
Oh, wow. So,
Wow.
any
Yeah.
recommendations for Andrea? I think, Andrea, when did you say you want to come to Japan? Was it like June or something?
Probably after Golden Week. Probably, yeah, probably. So whatever whenever they stop the restrictions, whenever Japan lifts the restrictions, which I think is Golden Week.
Yeah, I think that might be right. Any recommendations for where he has to eat? If there's one restaurant he has to eat in Tokyo.
In Tokyo. Ooh. I don't know. I think Japan is really, really good at making pizza, to be honest. Like, also, of course, Japanese food, but they're good at making everything and they make it better than the original country, I feel like. So check out some, oh, what's the name? I forgot. But there's good pizza in Nakameguro. I think it
That
pops
is
up when you Google it.
It's pretty crazy. I've always been on the impression that Japanese pizza kind of sucks. Maybe
What?
maybe I'm just not going to the right places. I feel like the dominant like the pizza places that are everywhere, like Pizza La or Domino's. They
Okay,
don't
I'm not talking about that though.
yeah. They don't cook the pizza long enough. It's like soft and gooey. I'm like, this is not
True.
cooked yet. You need to finish it.
Yeah, that's true. I
I
don't
also
like.
worked in a pizza shop for like 6 years, so
Mm.
yeah, picky. But I
Right.
will say, I went one time. I was in northern Tokyo. I did find like a New York style pizza place, and it was really good. I definitely ate way too much. You could barely move afterwards.
I feel you. I know that feeling.
So you're coming off a win over a high profile name in Yoshikawa. When do you think your next amateur bout will be? You're going to fight again this year, or?
Yeah, definitely. I'm waiting for an offer,
Mhm.
but whenever there's an offer.
What Deep Jewels? They probably do like what 5 or 6 events a year, I think.
Yeah. So maybe in 2 or 3 months, I guess. That'd be
And will
awesome.
that? And are you full on MMA now? No more kickboxing bouts?
No more kickboxing.
Very good.
I
Very good.
find the grappling more interesting lately.
Really?
Yeah.
You,
I've kind of neglected the striking the past half a year.
it's funny you
Been
say that because I thought your striking looked better than hers in the last fight.
Yeah,
I,
I don't know. I feel like if I didn't get the back, I don't know, and if it went to the judges, I don't know how they would have scored it. So, but I'm glad that I got the back.
I felt like your strikes were doing more damage. It seems like her strikes were more just kind of like glancing blows that weren't really affecting you at all.
That is
But
true.
also, Japanese judges love draws, so probably a good thing you got the finish in the end anyway.
Yeah, like definitely if like her punches and kicks were they didn't hurt, but she was definitely more active, and I feel like that counts a lot in Deep Jewels at least. Like I feel like the last fight I lost, had a I had a flash down. Like I knocked my opponent down for a second. She got up, but that didn't count as much. So I don't know.
Yeah, the scoring's kind of weird sometimes. They have like
Yeah,
that website now, the Japanese, like JMOC is the acronym, where they kind of explain the decisions, but
yeah. They say
it still
damage.
ends up making no sense.
Yeah, they say damage counts the most,
Right.
but then it doesn't.
Oh yeah, we don't worry. We all saw Rising New Year's Eve. We saw how the scoring broke down, and none of it made any sense.
Yeah,
So,
doesn't make any
yeah,
sense.
interesting. So you said you fallen in love with the grappling recently. What aspect of the grappling, and where do you train your grappling at?
I train at my gym mostly, but yeah, I guess grappling is more like chess. You can make a move and you can go back if you feel like it doesn't work. But with the striking, if you make a move and it wasn't a good move, then you will get a punch for that. So it's faster. I guess it's kind of like tennis in a way. But yeah, grappling is more, I don't know, intricate, and yeah, I don't know. I still like both, but
Mhm.
grappling is interesting. It's like right now I'm really interested in that.
Interesting. Well, yeah, I think Andrew could agree with you on that. He's quite a jiu-jitsu nerd himself, so
Yeah.
interesting. So, interesting. So I know that you said that you missed most of the card because obviously you had to go back, take your gloves off, and shower and
Yeah.
everything. But before you sign off, are there any fights that stood out to you that you did manage to see?
I I came back after I watched from what's her name? The striker.
Well, Eddie Takabayashi.
Yes, exactly.
Mhm.
I watched from her fight on.
No, so you caught most of the good fights.
Yeah, I did.
Not the good fights. I mean, like the high level fights.
I mean, I was looking at my phone and
Yeah,
watching,
yeah. Mhm.
but I thought what was surprising was the grappler that won against what's her name?
In the
Kate
main
Lowe.
event. Oh,
No,
you mean Hikaru Ano?
yeah, that was like I didn't know much about her, but I knew that she was a grappler, but she had amazing takedowns. Like
Yeah.
those are you can't defend those. Like you're just gonna get taken down.
Yes.
And yeah, but
Yeah, Hikaru has a high rest. She was like a collegiate wrestler, so she wrestled in college. So I think she'd wrestled since she's like 5 years old.
yeah,
So
okay.
going into
Makes
that
sense.
fight, I was actually at the fight with Zach, who trains at a Hearts gym,
Hmm.
and I'm like, I feel like it's gonna be tough for Kate just because how do you counter someone who's been training wrestling for 20 years when you have no background yourself?
I mean, her background is judo, right?
I think she doesn't really have like a she might have done it, but she doesn't really have like an established like collegiate level
Oh,
background. Because
interesting.
Kate Lotus was a bodybuilder before she switched to MMA.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that's difficult. Like, yeah, I guess for me, what I think is if you have a wrestler who's like I'm training with the Miu-san at Crazy
Yeah,
Bee, there's no way, like even if I invest a lot of time in takedown defense, there's no way I will be able to defend that.
yeah,
So what I would do is just get taken down and work from there,
yeah.
do the grappling, and use her strength, her explosiveness to my advantage. And that's just really hard, but I think that's more um, doable than doing the takedown defense with
Well,
people like that.
it's exactly what Moetti Suda did when she fought Hikaru Ano. She just got taken down and hit her with an armbar from her
Yeah,
guard and won the fight. But
that's just more realistic, I
yeah,
feel like.
it's funny you brought up Miyu too, because Miyu and Hikaru actually wrestled against each other.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Miyu won clearly. You don't get much more high level than Miyu.
No.
And what do you
No.
think? What do you think of the main event?
Um, Dude, to be honest, the first round, I think the Kuriyama-san won that.
Yeah,
And I was like, if the second round, I don't remember the second round. Did it
it's
go
a
to the third round?
no. It was the second round's where it was
All right. I felt like the the
possibly.
the the referee was in the way and kind of destroyed everything. Like, dude,
Yeah.
the ring is so small, and like you should have, like, you can predict that that kind of happens, like that she would step back when the Rin Nakai
Mhm.
walks in. So why do you stand behind her?
Yeah, that
And
was
then
a
she
weird
got
moment. I remember that now. I was because she kind of he got between her and like the corner and got like
yeah,
stuck there a little bit, right?
and then she got caught, of course. Like she
Yeah.
was doing the, keeping the distance and not letting her clinch up. She was doing that perfectly in the first round. She was hitting. She was what did she do? She had a good knee,
Yeah.
and yeah, she was landing a few strikes, and it was going super well. And then the referee was in the way, and she got, you know,
Yeah.
that was kind of unfortunate. But yeah, interesting fight. I expected the Rin Nakai to be more aggressive, but
Yeah.
she was very patient, and
Just notoriously a slow starter.
yeah,
Very famous for being a slow starter.
yeah,
Interesting. Well, I, for one, want to thank you for coming on. If you want
yeah.
to stay
Thank you
on,
for
and
inviting
I
me.
you have a busy night, so Andrew and I will move on and talk about the
All
rest of the
right.
show. And we can have you when your next fight is on. You got to come on again and talk to us.
Yeah, sure. It
Give
was
us some
fun.
more pointers about food. I'm always looking for delicious restaurants.
Yeah. All right. Thank
Perfect.
you.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Congratulations on your win, by the way.
Thank you.
I
Bye
forgot to
bye.
ask Andrew. Andrew, do you have anything you want to ask Sarah? I hogged all the talking time.
Well, I just quickly, you speak English and Japanese. Any other languages you speak?
German and a tiny bit of French.
Okay. When you're getting coached, or whenever your seconds are telling you to do stuff, do you have it done in English, Japanese, both, or German?
So until my last fight, I always had my Japanese coach with me, and he can only speak Japanese, so it's Japanese. But my last cornerman, he can speak German, English, and Japanese, so we kind of always mix languages. But when he did the cornering, he used English mostly.
I see. I
And,
see. Okay.
Andrew, I feel like from where the venue is tiny, I think it only is several hundred people, and the ring is like really close. When during her fight, I heard her coach giving instructions in English, and then I heard someone yelling advice from the crowd in Japanese. So I feel like she was getting advice in both languages.
Yeah, that was my coach. Was Japanese, and I think he was giving me more advice than my actual cornerman, but I couldn't hear anything. So
And that's it. I'm glad you brought that up, Andrew. So we talked about this a little before we started recording. Were you born and raised in Japan?
no, I was born in Germany, but I grew up here mostly. Went to like a international school. So I can't really write Japanese. I never learned the language, but the speaking is all right.
But the real question is, how is the Keigo?
Like, sucks. I don't use it. I reject it.
Yeah, I've said the same thing, but I'm now being forced to use it, and it's awful.
Ah, there's always the gaijin pass. You can kind of.
That's what I'm going to have to rely on because it's just
Yeah,
impossible to learn. Not at my age.
nope. Not even for my age, no. It's a no. Yeah.
Anything else, Andrew?
You said something interesting before that you don't want to go pro just yet. I think was that what you said before?
Yeah.
When is it more when do you want to get a certain amount of amateur fights or a certain amount of wins as an amateur, or do you want to? Is it more waiting for the right time? When do you think will be the time when you think you would like to go pro?
I think I'm waiting for the right time. Like when I feel confident, then I will go pro, I feel like. But you know, I've lost the last two, like before the last fight. I've lost two fights, and I feel like I should do some more, uh, some more of everything basically. But yeah, to gain just to gain more confidence, and then have a, you know, you see a lot of fighters go pro too early, and a lot of fighters have a negative record. I don't want that kind of.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Mm.
Anything else,
Oh,
Andrew?
oh no, sorry. Yeah, no. Those are the two burning questions I had. Those are the two.
Before you go, is there anything that you want to say or that you want like to plug or anything?
Um, what is it? I feel like the Deep Jewels is gaining so much so many fans. Like I noticed the last fight, like my friend who wanted to come watch me, she couldn't get in time because the elevators were too crowded. So that's really crazy how much Deep Jewels is exploding right now. So yeah, I'm kind of excited to be on fighting for them in this organization. And yeah, it's crazy that I'm just an amateur, and I already am on a podcast, and you know, people ask for pictures with me. That's crazy. But yeah, I'm enjoying everything, and I'm hoping to become like super strong and fight for Rizin at some point, I guess.
Oh,
Yeah.
very cool. And your last fight was at atomweight, wasn't it? Was it strawweight?
It was strawweight,
Yeah,
but
it's
I think
strawweight.
if I fight professionally, I will drop it to atomweight.
So your food eating hobby would suffer a little bit.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of like, but looking at the fighters in the strawweight division, they're all much bigger than me, so I think atomweight is the way to go.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, even at atomweight, Kate Lotus looks like a giant.
She's huge. Like I don't know how she does it, but to be honest, she looked kind of not weak, but you
Like
know,
depleted,
yeah, that,
drained. Yeah.
yeah, at at the weigh-ins,
Mhm. And
right?
Hime's also a giant. Hime's also huge.
Yeah,
She's at
yeah,
atomweight now. So,
that's crazy.
cool. Well,
Yeah,
thanks for coming on, and we'll definitely have you on again. I
yeah.
mean,
Thank you for having me.
yeah, thank you.
All right, bye bye.
Have a good night.
You
Bye.
too.
So, did you watch the pay-per-view, right, Andrew?
Yep, I ordered through Spawn, or however it's pronounced.
Yeah, that's how I pronounce it too. I think it's like Spawn Event or something. Was that a pretty smooth process from abroad? Were you able to use like a foreign credit card and everything?
Oh, it's the best one out of all the things I no address, no hotel address I have to put down. It's easier than having to like sign up for a Rizin membership thing. So it works absolutely perfect.
They didn't send like a key card to the address where you had to confirm that you live there.
Nope, I didn't get anything from my bank that said you were trying to order something from Japan. You better did you was this you? Nope. It worked 100%, no issues.
I've also had the classic Rising try to like triple charge me for an event in the past. So
Oh God.
yeah, so yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about Spawn. Excellent. So, what was your overall impression of the event before we get into the fights?
Well, definitely a great first show for 2023. Number of finishes. I'll say a first show for Deep Jewels, technically, not deep. So great finishes. I think rear naked chokes were on the menu throughout the night. Um, Was this the first cheering show for a Deep Jewel show, CJ?
Um, it's hard to tell because I don't know if they just got tired of telling people to shut up, or if it's like technically the first non-cheering show. But it might have been the first cheering show. That makes sense because I went to a concert earlier this year, and literally the day before the concert, we got an announcement that we were allowed to like make noises at the concert. So this has to be the first one where cheering's technically been allowed. Yeah.
I mean, you know, audience seemed to be really into it. I couldn't tell from the whatchamacallit, the I couldn't tell from the like camera wise if it was like a sold out show or how many people were there.
It was completely sold out. I mean, at the door, they were selling standing room only tickets. And I looked it up. I think Shinjuku Face seats like, it says 600 people. That seems like a lot to me though. I think it was probably less than that, but it was completely sold out. There were people standing all around the entrance, and it's like standing up, all drinks in their hands, watching the show. So I mean, it was absolutely packed, kind of like Sarah said.
I've been to Shinkiba, and it's not
Shinkiba, that's a different venue. It's a Shinjuku Face.
I'm sorry, Shinjuku Face. I get those two cues all the time.
Shinkiba is like a little bit bigger, but it's out in the middle of nowhere.
Was it Shinjuku Face? I've been there for a DDT show. It is a great it's a I don't know how to describe. It's like a bar. It's like a bar.
Yeah.
But like, is it also a club? I feel like it's also a club.
I think that's Studio Coast you might be thinking of. Shinjuku Face looks like it's probably used primarily for like pro wrestling events.
Yes.
And they have like a whole like standing area near the entrance. So I think they sell a lot of drinks and people watch.
And they have the tables near the ring or whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
The best section of any venue is the counter section at Shinjuku Face, because you get your own like little desk. It's awesome. Like, it's so much nicer if you have like drinks and food to have like a little table to put it on.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, I hadn't been, because they've been doing so many shows at New Pier Hall and Korakuen Hall, that I hadn't been to Shinjuku Face in a while. And even if you get the cheapest seats there, it's probably the equivalent of being like front row anywhere else, because it's so just packed in there. I mean, and it's a ring, so there's no cage blocking any of the vantage points. So it's an incredibly good viewing experience.
You hear that, G-Wolf? No cage. You can see.
That's my biggest beef with the cage, is if you sit up close to a cage, it's actually really hard to see the fight.
Well, I always, you wind up, I don't know if they had a video screen there, but whenever I got to an MMA show with a cage, I've always wound up watching the screen more often than I do the actual, like, what's happening like in front of me. So I can't see anything.
Well, I mean, a ring has 4 posts. The cage has like what?
Yeah.
Eight posts, 8 corners to block the view.
If you get behind a post on a ring, though, that can suck. That can really, really, really suck.
Yeah.
So
I've also been at a cage show though, where I've been stuck behind the guy that's on like that ladder with the camera.
Yes. Oh yes. That's awful. Yeah.
But so my thought, I'll see what you think. My thoughts of the event were, it's pretty fun. I thought it definitely got more exciting as it went on. And it suffers the same problem that Deep Jewels is kind of always going to have, and that there weren't a lot of finishes. Now, there were a couple good submission finishes, but I think that's just a problem, not of women's MMA, but of when you have all these lighter divisions, is that the knockouts just aren't really going to be there unless you have a special talent. But I thought for the most part, there were some entertaining fights. There were some high level fights. And also there were some fights that were like introducing like younger talent, like Sarah, like this new generation. Deep Jewels is just constantly creating this new generations of fighters. They've been, in my opinion, really been firing on all cylinders recently.
All these future young talent like Super Bankai and Hikaru Ono and yes,
Super
yes.
Benkei is a young 43. I believe 43. Yeah.
It's Benkei or Bankai?
It's Benkei. I think it's Benkei.
Okay.
But yeah. So what do you think about the opening fight with Mana and Boss?
Mana and Boss. So is it true that Boss broke her arm, broke her shoulder?
She did. I saw on Twitter, she actually posted a picture of her x-ray and I couldn't find it again. So she might have taken it down. But yeah, it was like a clean break.
Okay. I guess they must have hired Herb Dean or something to be referee, because usually referees for Deep Jewels, I know we've discussed this before, kind of just like get in before, like they get in quicker before other just compared to like other like Rizin or whatever. The referee must have been he must have been dozing on this one, because I knew that thing was gonna break as like, and like yeah, I didn't know it was broken until I read the post fight stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Deep Jewels normally, especially in like those opening fights where they're 2-rounders, there's a lot of like technical submissions that they do where the ref just stops it. And I wasn't on the vantage point of like seeing the arm. I could only see the other side. But part of me was thinking was just like, oh, she must really not have it if the ref hasn't stopped it by now. No, it turns out I was wrong. It turns out she had just completely snapped it. So
I'm seeing a lot about Mana. Mana seems to be somebody that not Rizin, that Deep wants to get behind. She's had a few amateur matches, I believe, right? She had like 1 or 2 amateur matches. And
she did, and she went down and trained with Rinnekai a couple times.
Yeah. I also have to give props to Mana for having her name on her shorts, just so I wouldn't get confused. So yeah, no, definitely Mana is somebody I think Deep Jewels is looking to get behind when the opportunity is right for 125.
Yeah, it was fun. I thought the first round was pretty back and forth between the both of them, though, and then Mana really took over in the second.
Yeah.
I feel like Boss is quite charismatic. I know she trained with Chibisai. I feel like if she comes back after this injury and continues, she could also, both these fighters could become pretty popular, I think.
Why does she go by Boss?
It's her nickname. I mean, she goes by her full name. I just call her Boss because I think it's funny.
Yeah, but like, what is there a reason why she's Boss? Is she the owner of the gym?
That's just not the owner of the gym. I mean, it's a cool sounding nickname. I gotta ask her that. If I ever interview her, I'll ask her why she goes by Boss.
Because the way that they write her name, they write Haruka, they write her name in Japanese, and then Boss. So I'm just wondering like why she goes by that. And also, and then Mana, she just goes by, I think, in Romaji, I think, right?
I can't remember. Just too many. Yeah, she goes by Romaji. I see it right now. It's in Romaji.
I know why she goes by Romaji, because everybody thinks Romaji's cool. You don't have to explain that to me. But yeah, the Boss one is, that to me is interesting, how she has her name stylized.
Speaking of weird nicknames, do you remember Momoka, the kickboxer from Rizin?
Yes.
She fought
the really tiny girl.
Yeah, she fought at Rise over the weekend. And Vivi May translated their nicknames because she does the ring announcing for them. And her nickname is now the Naughty Queen. It's like, where the hell did that come from? Speaking of weird nicknames, you're looking for the backstory behind Boss. I'm looking for the backstory of the Naughty Queen. It's like there has to be a lost in translation thing going on there.
If anything, that should be Panchan Reina's nickname, the Naughty Queen.
You see the Panchan's training. She took a picture training at Teppen Gym recently.
Was she trained there, or did she just take a picture there? Was she actually, because I don't know.
Like just in training gear, but tension wasn't in the picture, so
So that's
maybe
she should have just like photoshopped the tension in the picture, like worked out tension today, and just like clearly like a like cutout, like really badly photoshopped thing of him.
I was gonna say he was probably in the back signing posters for her, but I like your idea better. Yeah, then we're going back to the Deep Jewels 40. In the follow-up fight, other Niigata fighter Chibisai took on Koyuki. And I don't know if Koyuki's just not that good, but Chibisai looked like a little koala bear. Once she got in the back, there's no shaking her off.
Listen, I know that I knew that Chibisai. Listen, at that first win, I knew that there's something was something had a light had been lit under her little tiny chibi body. So listen, no, like in all seriousness, no, like she could be the future of microwaves. She has improved. You're laughing. You're
Come on,
laughing, but
she could be.
yeah, I mean, she's literally like she's the perfect size for microwaves. She might be, you know, she has improved in striking. Her grappling really has improved a lot. I mean,
I was really surprised when she went for. Did she go for a north-south choke at one point?
yeah, she went for a north-south choke, which don't work unless you're like 200 pounds.
Yeah, I'm like the only guy that I remember ever consistently pulling that off was Monson,
Mhm.
who had like T-Rex arms.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I'll tell you this. I don't know if Deep Jewels would have the guts to do it, but I would love to see. Oh my god, I just forgot her name. Who was
I'm gonna try to guess. Do you put Chibisai against Satoko Shinashi?
No. I was gonna. Oh my no. Furuse.
Mizuki Furuse. That could be fun.
Yes. Because you know, let's be honest, Furuse. She will win a fight and she'll lose a fight
Yeah,
almost equally.
say what you will about
And
Furuse, but I think Furuse also does have like some technical skills. So like, I think it'd be a good step up for her to kind of test how Chibisai is doing.
yes, yeah, you can only go so far, you know, with her with Chibisai fighting 0-1 or 1-0.
Oh no.
Yes, 0-0 or 0-2 fighters. I mean, you know, if you the other microwave, you know, thing, you know, with Kari Kamisa, I guess you can maybe do that if you wanted to. But like, I don't know. I feel like the Furuse fight is just a. I don't know. Is she popular? Well, it is Chibisai popular. I mean,
She is popular. She also comes from Niigata, so she gets a lot of support from there as well. But she's popular.
okay. Um, yeah, I think Furuse would be a good fight, but I don't feel like Deep Jewels will want to do that.
Mm,
I have nothing to say on Kyoki. Um, I guess
yeah,
better luck next time.
yeah. Microwave. They actually do have some good microwaves. I mean, Ayama Kami and Saudi Yoshima are probably the best microwaves.
Yeah,
Ooh,
I wouldn't
would you
do.
do like? Would you
I
like to
wouldn't do
do a
Murakami.
Chibisai versus Nisei fight?
Oh, that'd be. Nisei's microwave now,
She has fought in microwave in the past. That's when she beat Satoko Shinashi.
but she's not microwaving. She atom weight back to atom weight.
I think she's trying to focus on atom weight because she wants to go back to Rizin.
Yeah.
But I think she's coming off a loss, and I think that rising door might be shut. So I'd like to see her back at microweight. Let's be honest, if you can make microweight, you don't belong at atom weight.
That's true. That's true. I guess you could do the Nisei fights.
Because I
I don't
think
know.
both her
I
and
feel like
Chibisai are like not super technical. They're kind of brawlers. So it could be fun. And I have a question for you, actually, completely unrelated. Back to my koala bear comment. Is there a benefit to grappling if you're absolutely tiny? Like, is it hard to get her off of you?
it could be. The thing with it's harder to submit people who are smaller. That's the thing. Not a lot
Really?
of things to grab. Yes. Um, Rear naked chokes might be easier, but you gotta get the back. Um,
I remember
but
my
if you're
wrestling
small,
back in like high school wrestling. It was like the tall, lanky guys you had to watch out for.
yeah. But in grappling, yeah, it's all like guys. You can grab like there's more to grab. You
Interesting.
can there's you can a lot. It's a lot easier to grab an arm, a lot easier to grab a leg. The only difficulty is grabbing their back because since they got if they got like a longer torso, um, you might not be able to get the hooks in if you choose to go for hooks. Um, yeah, no, it is. I find submitting taller like your guys much easier than submitting smaller, short people. When it comes to most of the moves.
Plus, her hips are so low; it's got to be hard to take her down. Her center of gravity is so low to the
Well,
ground.
that's the thing. People, yeah, the tall. Everybody who's been facing her is taller than her. They have to get down
Yeah,
to her level. She just literally needs to just grab their leg.
yeah,
She's literally the side, like yeah. She can just like their legs right there. She's staring like eye level to her legs, so that is like to her advantage. Um, she seems to have good cardio as well.
hmm
She beside.
yeah,
Small people do tend to have better cardio.
yeah.
I've heard. I don't know if that's true.
Well, it doesn't have to
Uh,
go as far.
yeah, we don't no big bodies, to give to share all that oxygen and hashtag lactic acid.
Yeah,
Uh, so yeah, no, I think they got something cheap side for microweight. The Fruity fight I think would be a good balance fight. I am Murakami no would fuck her up. I really do believe that.
yeah.
Um, Nisei, I don't think you can. I'm. I would say yes, but I don't think she's going to go back to microwave at all.
No, I don't think so either.
And then Akari Kamise. Um, I guess you could do that, but I don't think that'll be as exciting. I think the Fruze fight is a good. It's a
Yeah.
good balanced fight for Chibi side.
I agree. Let's go on to the next fight. I know you want to talk about these Super Benkei versus Pochan Z fights. So I will say, to give you some lead up into this fight, I think there were some drunk Smoker Jim fans in the crowd who just kept yelling Benkei over and over again. I don't know if you could hear it on the Fit pay-per-view.
No, you can't. You can't hear shit. The way that they have the volume, all you hear is the announcers and the
Oh, so
ring.
so it's just set up to Saudi Oshima and the other guy.
Yeah. What is it? Shigeki Kyono, I think it is.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. So there's drunk fans. This fight was definitely, I think, more like a pro wrestling thing. Like it was a real fight, but the crowd was like laughing and treating it kind of like a spectacle that it was. And
It absolutely was, and I loved every bit of it.
it
This
looked
fight
like
was amazing.
Deep Jules really like dug to try to find someone that Pochan Z could compete against,
Win.
and she still lost.
I
What do you
mean,
think?
This is Deep Jules' Bob Sapp Osundarashi.
That's exactly how I would describe this fight.
Pochan Z, I don't know where she came from, what her goals are. I'm not gonna say that she needs to quit because she's awful, because this is not like you can fail in Deep Jewels and still move up or still get booked. So or improve, I guess. Well, I mean that's the story of Japanese wrestling. I mean Japanese MMA. There'll be people who have like 5 draws for their first 5 fights, and then lose their next 2, and then wind up going on 10-5 losing streak. So who knows? I mean, I don't know what to say about Miss Pasura or Miss Z.
This fight was it reminded me of like when heavyweights used to fight in the UFC in like Denver. It was just like 2 exhausted people throwing haymakers at each other. The big difference to me was it looked like Super Benkei could tell that she clearly had like a martial arts background, like a striking background. She was just too tired to use it effectively. But
Yes.
she was also the only one in the fight that seemed to be able to hurt her opponent. Like her punches, she was hitting Pochanzi hard with good punches, where I never saw Pochanzi really land anything that good. I think that was the big difference maker in the fight.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, Benkei looked like more of a fighter, and
Like the shell of a fighter.
yeah,
Like how this fight's weight was 265.
I'm baffled. I'm not so sure. Like, so was this open weight? Was it?
It was
No,
megaton.
was
Megaton.
Megaton. Interesting. Okay.
Well, it had to be because Super Benkei, because I think Pochanzi commented on like Instagram or something that she doesn't have to cut as much weight for this fight. But I think that's just because Super Benkei was 43 years old, hadn't had a real fight since 2012. I mean, I know she fought once in 2019, but let's be real.
Well, okay. So then, what was the end goal of this? Like, they must have booked this for some reason. They didn't just have this for shits and giggles. I mean, maybe they did.
Based off Pochanzi's social media, she posted a picture of her after the fight with her supporters, and there was a lot of people. Like a lot of people came to watch her fight.
But like, so what's gonna happen after this? Does Pochanzi get a fifth opportunity? Is Benkei back?
No, you gotta get Pochanzi versus Juicy 3. Turn it into the Tim Sylvia, Andre Arlovsky 5-fight series of Deep Jewels.
What Pochan? She fights at 145 or 135.
I think she's dieting though, but I don't know. Yeah, she's bouncing.
Okay, just have her fight Marina Kumagai again. I don't know. I don't know what to do with. You know, it's. I tried. You know, I mean.
Just put her in more fights like the Benkei fight. The Benkei fight was hilarious. It has its place on the cards.
But I'm just trying to think who else does Saiki call Amanda Lucas and be like, "Hey, girl,
that would be amazing. That would be amazing. You know, that'd be amazing. Or if
they just have to like open weights,
they just got to go like pick up some Smack Girl pamphlets and find some girls that fought like back in 2005 and 6. And bring it ballooned up and bring them back to fight Pochanzi now.
What about this? What about Gabby Garcia versus Pochanzi?
I feel like that'd be a murder. What about Megumi Yabushita?
Probably not, but I don't know. It's like I'm just trying to think of like who is open weight or. I don't know.
Ooh.
Old.
Put her against smaller people. Have like tag match, like 2 handicap matches.
Well, knowing Deep Jewels, they would probably rebook this fight again.
Yeah.
Or for kickboxing. They would do it again, but for like kickboxing rules.
Well, that'd be bad for Pochanzi because if Benkei actually gets in shape, I think she's gonna knock her out.
Yeah. Well, listen, they did have Marina Kumagai and King Reina. Remember they had like 3 fights. Remember? They had 2 kickboxing fights together, I think it was.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Actually, what is King Reina doing? What King Reina versus Pochanzi? King Reina needs a win, right? Why not?
Yeah. Oh my God, that'd be hilarious. Do it. I want it. I'm all about that fight. That sounds amazing. Can we make it funny though? Can you like make King Reina tie one hand behind her back?
I'm fine. Listen, yeah. Why not? Why the fuck not?
Didn't they used to do that in like old school WWF things? They'd like duct tape the guy's arm to his back or something. Yeah.
Well, actually, here's the funny thing. Knowing King Reina, she could potentially actually lose this. Like, there is a semi probability, I'll say, that she could lose this, that she could fuck it up.
What, she like slips coming into the ring and hurts herself?
I mean, like, just like bad fight IQ. Like, just you know how King Reina is. It's just like,
yeah, oh my
really
God,
awful bad fight IQ.
Oh my God, that'd be awful. And oh my God,
but this fight was a 10 out of 10. Better than Islam. Better than Islam versus Alex. Islam versus Volkanovski.
This fight was fun. the next fight though, the TA versus Juicy fight was, in my opinion, the worst fight on the card. I think Juicy missed weight, so she got like a red card.
That's
So-
what I read in the the
Yeah.
recap.
So
Was it your recap mentioned that?
probably. I don't remember what I wrote. I was
Okay.
very tired when I read it.
Or
But
was it? Oh no, I remember where I wrote Robert Sargent's
That's
his
right.
recap.
MMA Rising legend. But
T
Tia-
versus Juicy.
this fight, it was like Tia's coming off some losses. And I think she was honestly like, I just have to win a fight. And with that red card, she literally had to do nothing and she would win the fight. Because the red card, I believe a point is deducted. And so,
Is it point deducted for every round or?
yeah, I think it was like every
overall?
round. So, I mean,
Okay.
it was like Juicy had to like knock her out to win. So Tia just seemed happy to move backwards and pump a jab.
Yeah. I was very
So-
disappointed in my 4'11" short queen. Juicy.
Juicy went for some haymakers, but yeah, that fight was awful. And the less said about it, the better. Which is okay because the next fight we have Edo Takabayashi, who I am a fan of, taking on Hitomi.
Told
She took
ya.
on Hitomi Taniyama.
Told you she'd be back. Told you she'd be back.
Dude, she looked great. I've said it time and time again. Because Japan is such like a rich wrestling and judo history, it's like really rare to see like female mixed martial artists coming from striking backgrounds.
Yeah.
Dude, how aggressive were those combos that she threw?
Yeah. No, they were. No, she looked good. She looked great on the feet. She looked amazing. Compared to her last fight. Kate Lotus.
Mhm.
And
I thought she actually stunned Hitomi a couple times. That if she had just stood up, she might have been able to finish her with strikes.
yeah. Well, also, here's the thing. She fought a Brave Gym girl. Brave Gym girls. I don't want to say that the weakness of the Brave Gym is striking because that's not true. But in this case, listen, if I'm told I'm gonna go up against a Brave Gym fighter, I'm gonna be like, okay, you're not gonna get me to the ground, fucker. So I'm gonna just strike you. So that's what Eru did, and it was a smart.
Well, she had a pretty sweet. She had a pretty sweet sprawl. She would shoot those hips back and then just take the back like every. It was like,
yeah.
At what point in time does Taniyama not realize like she's just going to try to take your back every single time? Maybe you should not let that happen.
I apologize. Is Tomi still at Brave Gym, or
She's
did
not.
she change her gear?
She switched to Paddy.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm looking at Tapology. I forgot. Yeah. Well, Parastra. Well, is this Chiba?
Yeah, it's the Kanahasakura
Okay.
location.
Still, that's still like a high level wrestling place because you got
Ogi.
what's his name? Ogi Kubo. You got Furuya. Teaching.
More importantly, I think Hitomi was training with Shevchenko ahead of this fight.
Yes, Shevchenko. It was kind of like a where's Waldo, but where's Shevchenko? Just randomly popping up at places.
Watching all of the female talent in Tokyo like flock to put Chiba to train at Paddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and it looked like she's been working. I don't mean it's hard to tell because this was Hitomi's second pro fight, but it looks like Edu's takedown defense is getting better.
Yeah.
And she's still pretty young, so I'm just excited to see what the future holds because I'm always excited to see an explosive striker.
Do you think Eru can make atom weights?
I think she's done it in the past. I think when she fought in Rising, it was at atom weight. Let me double check.
What did she? Okay, and she didn't miss weights, right? That was her opponent.
She did not. Sakura missed weight. That's why it's in the
Okay.
contest.
She fought at 51 kilos. Is that atom weights?
That's 2 kilos above super atom weight. Super atom weight's 49.
Oh, she fought Ira Koge. I forgot that was atom weights.
Yeah, she can make it. I mean, she's fighting all these people that fight at atom weight. She fought Moetti Suda. That probably wasn't at straw weight. Let me double check. Yeah, she fought Moetti Suda at atom weight.
Okay.
She can make that.
It says that she's fighting out Fukui, Japan.
Yeah, she's kind of from out in the sticks.
I've never heard of Fukui, which apparently she's born in Fukui. I'm assuming that Fukui and Fukui are in the same region.
No, It's kind of, let me double check, but I think it's not near anything that would make it stick out. Yeah, it's kind of like
It's
on
not.
the western, it says it's on like the western bordering the Sea of Japan.
Oh God. Okay. Okay. So she's
So
surrounded by fishermen, fisher
yeah, so she's
people.
not
Sorry.
close to like Kansai stuff, and she's not close to Tokyo stuff.
Gotcha. I mean,
I
here's
pulled
the
it.
thing. She's 19.
Yeah, she's young.
Even though she's 3-3, it's interesting. A great contrast to somebody like Sarah, who we just talked to,
Yeah,
who says that they want to wait to go pro. Sounds like Eru couldn't wait to go pro, because if she's already pro at 19 with 6 fights,
yeah.
listen,
Well,
sorry, go ahead.
I think she got pushed to go pro because her pro debut was a Rising fight.
Yes, I
And
remember
so I
that.
think Rising put her and Sakura, who are these two like young at the time, they were both high school students.
Yeah,
And they're like trying to make the new Kana Sakura, but Sakura
yeah.
went crazy and disappeared, and Edu lost by armbar. No contest.
Well, officially with a no contest, so it does not
Yeah.
exist, CJ.
Yeah.
But no, listen, I think Eru's, if Eru continues fighting like this, I think she can definitely continue on a successful career in deep duels. Whether she stays at atomweight or stays at strawweight and wants to go back to atomweight. I mean, I would say go down to atomweight because there's probably a lot more competition there.
Yeah.
A lot more interesting fights, but yeah, she's
Well,
also 5'3". That is small for strawweight, kind of.
she has a future at atomweight because in a division that's just filled with judoka, a striker is going to stick out and catch a promoter's eye like Rizin.
Yeah.
Because who are they going to want to put like Rena against? They're not going to want to put her against a 30-year-old who's been doing judo for 25 years.
Yeah.
They're going to want to put her against a striker.
Well, you know what? Why don't you just do Eru versus Super Benkei? Why the fuck not? Who cares?
I would
Like
watch that. Put her against Pochan Z. That'd be even funnier.
Pochan Z would somehow lose, even though she's like 30 pounds heavier.
All right, so moving on to the next fight, we have Akari Kamise versus Momoko Yamazaki. I thought the first round was kind of dull, but it kind of picked up in the second round. What do you think?
Yeah, kind of dull overall.
It was weird. Akari looks like she had a pretty good takedown. She just seemed reluctant to do it.
Yeah. It's funny because Akari comes from I think Majima was in her corner, right? Kazumasa Majima?
Yeah, that might make sense. I don't remember exactly.
Well, I thought I saw a picture of them together at the arena. But I think I mean I was impressed by Akari. I mean, this was her first pro fight. I can't recall that much about her amateur stuff. And I also I don't count amateur stuff. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Amateur doesn't count in the real world. It's not canon.
Unless you're Triple G.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, yeah, Akari looked impressive, but it's one fight. This is her first fight. Also, Momoko Yamazaki, I don't think is particularly that good.
Momoko Yamazaki kind of falls in the chibi side territory of being like a good. I mean, what she's a girl from Outsiders. That tells you all you need to know.
Yeah.
But she's kind of like a brawler. But the problem is when you look at technical, I mean, Akari clearly had some sort of takedown skills. So she clearly comes from some kind of grappling background. And I think Momoko is just going to struggle against that every time.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess if you want, I still would like to see Shibisai versus Baruse, but I don't know. I feel like Deep Duels would probably rather go with Akari. I think
maybe
I don't know why.
Do you feed Shibisai to the wolves like that? I don't know if you do.
I don't even know if it's feeding to the wolves. It's just a fight I'm not interested in after watching Akari in her debut. I'm more interested in seeing. Yeah, I'm more interested in just seeing where Shibisai is, considering she got her first. I mean, she's on a 2-fight winning streak after losing 3 fights and got her first finish. So I'm curious to know where she stands as an MMA fighter.
Yeah, and also like I mean, just keep building Chibi Sai up. You don't need to. I don't think she's ready for a grappler.
By
Like
the way,
this
I didn't
yet.
even notice that apparently she already fought Aya Murakami. Aya Murakami submitted her in the first round. I can't believe that. I didn't even know those two fought.
Oh, that must have been when they were bringing Aya up. I don't remember that either.
That must have been like a squash match. I can't believe it says 416 here. I'm surprised it lasted that long.
Which fight was that for Aya? Was that her?
This
It was
is from,
it was Aya Murakami's pro debut. That's why.
Oh, okay. This is from 34. Deep Jewels 34.
It says that was Aya Murakami's. Was that her pro debut?
And it was
No, never mind. It was Aya Murakami's second fight.
Okay, it was Nisei versus Bruse in the main event.
Yeah, Aya was coming off of a win over Moedi Suda the year before.
Oh, this is the one where Izawa, where they did the grappling tag team match thing. I think
that grappling tag match was cool though. I liked that match.
Where
Izawa submitted everybody with a different submission.
Yeah. No surprise there. No surprise there.
Yeah, that was nice. I mean, did you see the Raikkonen where she talked about the park fight?
I beg your pardon, sorry.
Did you watch the Rising Confession where
Oh God,
Izawa...
I'm so behind on my Rising Confessions. What did she say?
It actually, you know that weird sequence at the end of the fight where
she got knocked out. Well, it looked like she got knocked out.
What actually happened was her finger came out of her glove.
Yes. Yes.
And she was like looking at the ref to try to get him to like give her time to put her finger back in. And that's when that whole situation happened. So I don't think she was knocked out. I think it was just like she was not paying attention.
Yeah, I see.
Classic Paul Harris moment. You got to pay attention.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Who was it that knocked him out? Was that Nate Marquardt?
He's been knocked out quite a few times.
No, the fight where he thought the guy greased his legs, so he looked to complain to the ref and got knocked out.
Was it Belcher?
No, Belcher was the crazy man who was not afraid of grappling with him on the ground.
Maybe, well, because that's the thing. I thought it was Belcher because he did do that, and whenever Palazzo tried the heel hook, where he tried the leg lock, he would just get out of them. So I thought it was that fight because he kept complaining because Palazzo was getting all those. He was always successful in those foot locks, and so this one time that he's not. I thought that's what I thought.
I think it was Nate Marquardt. I think it was Nate Marquardt.
Back when Nate Marquardt wasn't really pissing off the internet.
Did he say some crazy stuff on social media recently?
He basically compared gay people to pedophiles. Well, because long story is that he saw a commercial on ESPN with 2 gay men kissing, and then he went on a Twitter thing. So, yeah.
I mean, at this point, are we really surprised? I mean, yeah, the guy's been
probably not the best Nate in MMA.
No,
probably one of the least intelligent Nates.
Well, he's been knocked out 6 times in fights, not counting in training. So I don't think people are really looking to him for advice on important issues.
But apparently, I heard that he's supposed to be fighting a 1 in the USA.
Really?
I saw that come up somewhere.
Oh, does he have a connection to Hume or whatever that what's Demetrius Johnson's coach's name?
No, Matt Hume.
Yeah, does he have a connection to him somehow?
Yeah. Probably like that old school thing. Yeah.
Yeah, because ONE FC's never done any like nepotism or anything like that.
Yeah, of course not.
All right, back to Deep Jewels 40. Let's get off the more pleasant topics. So this, from now on, is where I think like the real high level stuff kind of happened. And the first one would be the Aono fight versus Kate Lotus. Now, Kate Lotus isn't especially high level, but Aono is a very high level wrestler. And I thought she absolutely dominated Kate Lotus. What do you think?
Are you saying Super Benkei versus Poshianzi was not high level? That is
It was.
quite a slanderous statement.
I wouldn't say it was high level, but I'd say it was highbrow.
Okay.
It was the fanciest fight.
I see. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, no. Hikaru Watanabe. Did they announce her as Hikaru? I can't remember. Did they say oh no, did they say Watanabe?
I think she's gonna stick to Aono as like her fighting name.
I'm kind of actually happy.
Mhm.
I'm also happy that Tapology, because that means Tapology doesn't have to rename her entire page as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought this would be a showing for Kay Lotus, and no, it was the complete opposite. It was the comeback for Hikaru Ono. Clearly not upset over her husband's recent knockout, or distracted by the recent marriage.
Or the gym opening.
The gym opening. So yeah. So I thought a lot of factors would be like, oh, listen, she's clearly not going to come to this fight prepared against the much stronger, better, well, not better, but stronger Kate Lotus, and no, she particularly dominated Kate Lotus.
Kate Lotus is such a strange fighter at this point. It's like she actually did pretty well in grappling exchanges against Mika Nagano, who's granted older and who knows how hard she's actually training. But then she struggles to grapple against Arami. And then she goes against Aono and she just has no answer for anything.
Yeah, I don't know why she trains at K Clan, right? K Lotus.
Yeah, she trains, well, officially she trains at Kobe, with a King Kobe, whatever they call it, but she's up at K Clan.
Okay. I mean, who was in her? Do you know who was in her corner? Was it anybody from K Clan?
Yoseki Zawa.
Why? Okay. Her entire camp, I would have said her entire camp should have just been grappling defense, wrestling defense, takedown defense. That should have been her entire camp.
I'm gonna go towards the Sarah strategy and say maybe you should work on that, but you need to accept the fact that Aono's going to get you down and have a game plan for what to do when that happens. Whether it be getting back up, reversing her, or submitting her. You had to have like an answer for getting taken down.
So I disagree. So the first Gustafsson Jones fights, Gustafsson went
the
all the way.
The one where Jones didn't train.
Yes. Well, also, you know, a friend of mine had a good point. He said that Jones not training probably is still better than 90% of at the time. This is when Jones was like dominating. Well, could still dominate.
I would be crazy enough to say that there is an argument to be made that Jones not training and partying is the most dangerous John Jones.
Yeah. Also, do I believe that he did not train for that fight? I don't know. I think that it sounds like an excuse that was made because he basically got the shit kicked out of him for 5 rounds and somehow still won. Only because he got one takedown in the last minute of the 5th round, but nonetheless. So I like to point that fight. It's like, listen, Gustafsson was like, okay, I'm fighting at the time the best wrestler on the roster, on the champion, John Jones. Where am I gonna go? I'm gonna go to where the fuck it was. He went to Phil Davis's trainer, Phil Davis, and basically just did wrestling defense. And if you see that fight, he did it, and he managed to take down John Jones as well, the first person to ever do that in an MMA fight. So
I agree with you to a point, but it's kind of hard to compare because John Jones always seemed to selectively use his wrestling.
Really? I don't know. I don't really think.
Well, I thought he used it a lot earlier in his career, but later on in his career, he seemed to kind of be use his longer reach to strike.
He
might
would
not be remembering correctly.
Yeah, he would use his striking. Yeah, but he would also use his reach to just.
Because I thought he just took
to
Cormier down as a giant F you to Cormier because he was like, look, I took you down.
But also, he did try to take down Gustafsson numerous times.
Who's
in
that
fight.
guy's leg that he shredded? Is that Santos?
Yeah, Santos.
He like refused to try to take him down. That was a weird fight. Okay, maybe I'm misremembering it incorrectly.
Um,
No, but yeah.
but
So if you were in Kate Lotus's corner, you would have just worked takedown. I mean,
absolutely,
yeah.
especially with Chicago Ono, yeah.
She's so much bigger than Hikaru. You think she could have just like pumped it, kept her off of her, like not even needed to do takedown defense.
That's true, but also bigger people sometimes are easier to take down. They say bigger they are, the harder they fall because they're just big.
Hikaru went like full on Randy Couture versus James Toney. Like, I don't respect you at all. I'm going to shoot for a single leg from the outside. And
yeah,
I was like, not a good start. Not a good start.
I mean, Ono's plan worked. Yeah, it's back to I don't know what you do if Kate Lotus is gonna still stay at atom weight.
She has to, because I mean, she clearly has aspirations, and I think she wants to fight in Rising. Why else would she drop all the way down to atom weight?
Yeah,
and
I admire the fact that she has like clearly improved and wants to improve. I don't know what to do next with her though. What you do with Miss Lotus next?
I actually had an interesting conversation. I was talking to a fighter the following day about the events, and they said that Kate Lotus like needs to be meaner, kind of, and that she's like too nice of a person, and that she like they were almost like saying like she needs to be more confident in her abilities. And
so it's like a Uriah Hall thing, kind of.
Yeah, because it definitely seemed like she's just like once. I thought she fought the hardest to stop the first takedown. And then once that takedown happened, there's like a mental thing happened where she's like, oh, I'm just going to get taken down every single time now. So it seemed like a mental thing almost. But who knows? We'll see how she bounces back. She'll clearly be back. And I was actually happy to see Hikaru win because she hadn't fought in Deep Jewels in almost a year.
Yeah, and also, her husband got knocked out, opened a gym, got married. So maybe we'll see Hikaru in Rizin next instead of Kid Lotus.
Gotta happen. But speaking, actually, I think the best chance of being in Rising was the winner of the next fight with Machi defeating Hime. I did not see this happening the way it played out.
Absolutely not either. I thought Hime was going to theme her. That's a proper term. But no, Machi Fukuda and her fake glove touch won the fight.
Hey, all's fair, man. She wanted to win. She trained with Saori Ashima ahead of this fight. Interesting fight as strawweight. I didn't realize that. But she trained with Saori Ashima ahead of this fight. And she also worked on her striking with Mizuki Inoue. So she was getting some good training going in. But afterwards, she said, like, I had a game plan going into the fight. And I was like, yeah, that game plan was to not get hit. It seemed to work very well.
Yeah.
I mean, I was laughing my ass off. I was watching the fight with Zach. You guys know him. He's on Todd Atkins' podcast sometimes. And we were just laughing. I thought it was genius to just, hey, if Hime is a counter striker who moves well, this is the best chance to get a shot on her. So it worked.
Yeah.
To Hime's credit, Hime tried to gut it out. Those clackers came on for 10 seconds, so she refused to tap, but Machi put her to sleep.
Yeah. I thought she was going to survive it. I thought she was going to survive the round. And if the referee was dumb, he might have actually missed it, and they may have actually have gone to the second round potentially.
Classic Celine Haga and Victor FC situation.
Oh yeah. Is Machi going to stay at strawweight? You think, or do you think she can make atom weight?
She's so short; she has to be able to make atom weight.
Okay. I assume that almost every strawweight and deep jewels can make atomweight. I always assume that they do strawweight fights because they don't want to keep
They don't want to diet for
cutting.
that fight.
Yeah, they don't want to die for a deep jewels fight in front of Shinjuku face. It's one thing to do that versus I don't know, Saitama Super Arena.
Yeah. Man, tell you what, Machi had a ton of fans there. I think she's quite popular, and she's got kind of like the Itsuki / Motono Miki kind of like fashion sense going on. She finished Hime. Sakakibara was in attendance. I think we might see Hime possibly get launched up the rankings too quickly. Because remember, she lost an amateur fight like last year. I mean, she's still clearly a fighter in process, but she had a great game plan going into this one. I just don't want to see her get rushed too quickly. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, well, rushing fighters quickly and Japanese MMA. I mean, name a better couple. That's been the story. Yeah, it's the way it works. It works. Listen, it works sometimes, and then other times it's a miserable fucking failure. And I don't know. I don't know what the science is behind it. You got people like who are slowly being developed, like Furuya and Pancras. And then you have people that are like, I don't know.
Oh, it's your pro debut? We're going to put you against Vanderlei Silva, who has 30 fights on his record.
Yeah.
Was that Yuki Kondo?
Yuji Nagata, you're going to fight Mirko Krokop and Fedor in your first two fights.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just don't know. I don't know the science behind this, but who would you think would be a good opponent for her next, for Machi?
Well, she's at strawweight. That kind of limits the pool down significantly.
Well, it's basically any atom weight at this point. It's any atom weight. Yeah.
It's kind of interesting because she comes from a judo background, and there's a ton of judoka at atom weight. But if she wants to fight at strawweight, I would put her against Arisa Matsuda, the pretty cool girl from the Osaka area. The problem is, in beating Hime, she's like put herself above that. Like she needs to be fighting people with names now.
So I also noticed that Arami and her and Hime are both strikers, kind of, right? Arami's a striker, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they put her against two strikers. I don't think that's a coincidence.
She lost her last amateur fight against a striker.
Yeah, but don't forget, amateur fights are not canon. So
it happened in September of 2022.
That's old news. That's old news, CJ. That's old news.
Yeah.
So, but her two pro wins, the only things that count wins are against strikers, and I don't know. I feel like that's not a coincidence that they set her up with two strikers. So, ideally, to see where she is now, I want to see her against a potential grappler next. I mean,
I will say I do believe the matchmaking for this was kind of setting the stage for Hime to win, because
I thought so too.
Hime did quite well against Saudi Oshima, who's the exact same background as Machi.
Yeah.
But,
well, how old is Hime again?
Unofficial. It's not posted, but she's in like her mid-30s.
Oh wait, no. There's no way that they could set this fight up for her to win if she's in her mid-30s. You know how?
No, man. She's coming off that huge knockout win. I think I think this fight was the reason Sakakibara was in attendance, because I don't think he's interested in Red Nakai or any of the other fights really.
Or he doesn't want this old woman, this old Obasan on his ring.
She could be a good feeder for Seika's got to feed. She needs food up there in Rizin. But I think Machi winning, though, Machi has a much better chance because she's kind of marketable, which is what Rizin is interested in.
Oh yes, of course. No, that's what matters. That's what matters. And she's got fans.
Yeah. She's
got an Instagram page, I assume.
Yeah, she does. Twitter.
Good. Already.
Yeah, so
All right.
I think
You celebrate for Rizin ready.
I think Machi was clearly the biggest winner of the whole event, to be honest. This was a huge upset. Because I mean, Hime has a win over the current champion, and then she got a giant knockout win in the fight afterwards. It looked like Hime was just unleashed, but one dirty takedown later, and, it's all over.
Which I originally missed. I missed that because I usually like don't pay attention to like the first like 10 seconds of fight because usually nothing happens. So I was just like doing whatever. And I just see like, oh fuck, it already went to the ground. And I'm like, holy fuck. And then you mentioned to me about the dirty gloves match. I'm like, I didn't see the I didn't see that. So we watch it like, oh, I see. I see.
Do you put Machi against like Mahima Tono at this point just to gauge, give her a chance to really launch herself up to the rankings?
Miki Matono, I don't know. Like what?
Or do you put her against like Moedi Suda next? I mean, Moedi Suda has a fight scheduled, but Deep Jewels events are so infrequent. Do you put her against like Moedi Suda next?
Yeah. Okay. Well, Moedi Suda is like high level grappler. If she can, like,
Moedi Suda is not just that, she's like a dangerous grappler for judoka because she's dangerous off her back.
Yeah, so so since she's fought two strikers, I would be interested to see where her grappling is because no offense to Maria Suda, but she can't strike. She's not the same level. So I would just like to see how somebody like Machi goes up against like a Maria Suda type of grappler like that level.
So I'm going to think, would you rather see her against Miki Matono, Moedi Suda, or like an Aya Murakami?
I don't know. I think I see her so. I know that Miki Matono is part of a Bima and she's well loved, but I don't know what the end goal for Deep Jewels is. She seems to fight very infrequently. That's the thing that's the thing I don't get is that I'm told that she's could be the next big thing, yet she fights infrequently. I'm like. I mean, she fought twice last year, but one was in March and one was in November. You got Deep Jewels.
Then you got Moedi Suda fighting at every event.
Exactly. Yeah, she fought. Let's see. Matono lost. She fought 3 times and lost twice in 2021. Yeah, I don't know what the end goal of Miki Matono is. So. If she's Rizin bound or if she's UFC bound, I've heard some people say, she could be UFC level ready, whatever, which I don't think is true. Absolutely not. Or you know what, with her, not Miki Machi, just bring in a random Korean for her to smash. I don't know.
That's backfired before. That's what happened to Ham Sohi. They brought her in to get smashed.
Yep, I know. That's a risk.
Yeah,
that is a risk. You know, or I don't. Who was I have a question. What weight is Zenny Wang?
Zenny Wang she fought in Pancrase at atomweight.
Okay, legit atomweight because I know she was in 1.
Oh yeah, she got signed to 1 before all those changes happened.
I see. Okay.
No, she's a natural atom. She's tiny.
I would going back, if she's an atomweight. Okay.
Plus, she's in Pancrase. She's a different promotion.
Well, you can do crossover. Well, I mean, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you're doing cross promotions, I would like to see Machi against like Chiharu Sawada would be fun. 2 prospects that are coming on the up and up.
We see more fighters go to Pancrase rather than fighters going from Pancrase.
Yeah.
To like D. It can't be a coincidence.
They're back and forth. I mean, I think Yoko Higashi came from Pancrase.
No, but I mean, like currently, like we're not seeing a lot of fighters. It seems like more fighters go to Pancrase rather than like, this fighter was in Pancrase and then is coming.
I think that's how it goes with the men's divisions because Pancrase. I think the way it goes is if you want to go to the UFC, Pancrase is the way to go.
Yeah.
Because they have a proven track record of sending fighters to the UFC. But the women, because I know Pancrase Deep sent Aoi Kuriyama to fight Nori, and then Pancrase sent Nori to fight her again. And so it wouldn't be a show if I didn't somehow bring up Team Pravjara, so I had to squeeze that in somehow. But
have Machi fight what's her name?
Karen.
Yeah, Karen. I mean, like Karen already lost. She lost. The fuck.
No.
Titles don't matter.
I'll say final verdict. Well, the fight I'd want to see is Machi versus Sawada, but since that's probably not going to happen, I would like to see Machi versus Moeri Suda.
Okay. Yeah, I'm all for that.
Main event. Give me your thoughts on the main event. I'll let you go first before I.
God, that first round was so boring as fuck. I would have. That referee had to warn them. Do shits.
Were there two action warnings, right?
Yes, I think there was at least one. And I would have given that that's like a 0-0. That's like if this is judging by round that I disagree with Sarah before. I don't think either of them won. That's one where you just no.
Well, Aoi Kuriyama was clearly very intimidated just being in there.
Yeah.
And Rin Nakai, notorious slow starter, was doing almost next to nothing. She landed a couple strikes near the end of the round that looked like they had some good heat on them. But
this was slow even for Rin Nakai though. This was really slow. It was almost like I was unsure if it was like they were both afraid to engage.
Yeah.
It was like that level.
I don't know, because tell me what you think about this. I was talking to Zach about this fight. If you're Aoi Kuriyama's coach, do you tell her, Rin Nakai, I mean, you've seen the Shoko Fujita fight. You've seen all those fights. Rin Nakai can be hit. She doesn't have good head movement. You can hit Rin Nakai.
Yeah.
She has a very slow starter. Our strategy is to try to hurt her badly in the opening minute of the fight.
Yeah.
I feel like because once she starts grappling, you're screwed. It's like once she grabs you, you're not going to get out. So your game plan, and she's so short. I would have liked to see Kuriyama throw a high kick or something. Oh, that could have been interesting.
You do risk getting taken down though if she catches the high kick. You do risk that.
That's true, but she's such a slow starter. She's such a slow starter in that opening round.
Well, you talked about and Kay Lewis were like, okay, listen, you're gonna get taken down. I don't think so with so much Ono. I think Ono can be defended. I think Nakai's grappling is so good you can't. So I understand that perspective.
Well, that's where I was kind of coming with this, because it's just like Nakai is so physically strong.
Yes.
And technically gifted as a grappler that she has kind of like in Japanese you call it Onini Kanabo. She kind of has the invincibility aura in that area of her game. So don't even try that.
But she's also a great striker though. She does have power behind her strikes.
Well, you do have to be afraid of her strikes, because she hit Kuriyama with some huge hooks at some point that looked like they had a ton of power behind them. But I'm just, if you're gonna win that fight, you either have to somehow, I feel like, because even with the slight jabbing she was doing, it looked like she bothered Rin Nakai's eye.
I would say you
just hit her really, really hard.
Yeah, I think you just have to stick and move. I think with Rin Nakai, it's she is stick and move.
Sugiyama tried that, but the problem is that the ring, especially in Shinjuku face, is so small.
Yeah.
That I think you're gonna have if you're in the big cage from the UFC, that might work, but in that tiny ring, I think keeping her off of you is gonna be real hard. To the point where I was like, why didn't Rin just go for the clinch almost immediately? I don't know.
Well, I thought that Ring was gonna, because I thought she was immediately gonna just shoot it for a takedown, get the takedown, and then work from there. I thought she was gonna just do that.
Me too. It was weird because she's making all this fuss about wanting to go to the UFC. And I mean, my impression was this isn't the type of performance that turns heads for
No.
that?
No, well, nothing will turn heads, but that's a story for another day.
Yeah.
Um,
But I mean, if you're trying to get in the UFC, I feel like you're going to try to go out there and just kill somebody in the first round,
yeah,
not get warned for inaction twice.
yeah. And also, by the way, this lasted this almost could have gone to the third round.
Yeah.
This was 4 minutes 30 seconds. If Kuriyama had a little bit more grappling back take defense, she could have easily survived. She could easily survive that back take. Yeah, it's
Do
sorry.
you think any of this gets put down to Nakai just doesn't compete enough? If she competed more, she'd be more fluid in the opening round.
I think it's just Nakai being Nakai.
Yeah,
Honestly,
it's
like
weird. Yeah, it was a boggling performance. I was confused by it.
she's always a slow starter. I think most of her finishes come like in the second or third rounds.
Well, she does have a bunch of first round finishes, but I think that's from like earlier in her career. Let me double check. But recently, definitely, she's been a slow starter. Let me see. I mean, early in her career, yeah, a bunch of first round finishes, but it's really kind of been like post UFC that she's kind of switched to the later round stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is. She turns 37 this year. So she's running out of time if she wants to get into the UFC. But the problem is she has so much talent that I would be kind of interested to see her against. I am interested to see her against some like higher talent like the UFC has to offer.
If you don't mind me asking, so after the fight, she politely, I guess, called out Valentina Shevchenko, and then Valentina said on Twitter, "Yeah, I guess it was the equivalent of like, my people, Mike, don't call me, we'll call you." I don't know how to really interpret what Valentina was trying to say, but like,
I'll tell you what I thought about it. So what it is Valentina's teammate. So in the morning there was like the Future King tournament they had, and one of Valentina's teammates fought on the card.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think Valentina was there, but I think her coach was there. And I think there was kind of this thought going around that Valentina might show up to Deep Jewels. And so Rin Nakai had this prepared speech that was written down that she read after she won, where she talked about wanting to fight in the UFC, how she's willing to like fight in a feeder league in the US to get into the UFC, and how Valentina's there and she'd like to fight Valentina someday. And Valentina must have caught wind of this. I think she must have seen the MMA Rising article, because that's what she responded to, is a quote tweet. And essentially what she said was, "Oh, I'd love to fight you. Just get into the UFC and get into the top 10. Which to me is just like how you talk to a crazy person. You're just like, yeah, that's great. Just get into the UFC and yeah, earn the. He's like, that's her way of saying like, earn the title shot, and I'll gladly fight you.
Well, I also probably don't think that Valentina Shevchenko has like any sort of inkling of like how UFC hires people or who UFC hires, and I don't think she's high on their list of people of like who like. There's only one other way that Rin Nakai gets into UFC, and if she was best friends with Connor, that's the only other way.
What would you have done? What would you have done? Did you see that video of him getting out for the tough, where he just looked like absolute shit getting out of the car?
Yes.
He looked like bloated and all that stuff.
Yeah.
What if he had gotten out and Rin Nakai was with him? Do you think the internet would have melted down?
I think I would have melted down. I would have well, first of all, no one but you and I would probably have recognized her, and Babu Jack and all the regular folk. It'll be like. So I've been to like movie premieres. Mm-hmm. And when you walk the red carpets, so you have the photographers there. They're taking a picture of all the people who like are the celebrities and all that stuff. And as soon as you walk by, they just stop. You're like a ghost. That's how they would have been if she walked out the car.
Oh Oh my God, she could be like that season where GSP had that crazy French trainer come in. She could be
Yeah.
like that, the equivalent of that. That guy was awesome. No, but seriously though, I would like to see her fight on some bigger stage. I'd like to see her fight in Bellator, UFC, the PFL. I think she would have had a good chance of winning the PFL tournament.
Yeah, I mean, but the other thing is she's kind of fucked her own chances by doing that. Her and her crazy ass husband manager. There's a reason why she didn't fight for 2 years. There's a reason why she's not back. There's a reason why she's fighting in deep. I hate to say it, but it's like she kind of dug her own grave, and it's hard for me to feel bad for her. And every time she's like saying, "Oh, I'm gonna end myself if I don't go to UFC," it's like it becomes more and more. The desperation becomes more and more like I pity her.
Yeah,
rather than like be on her side.
so that's kind of the side I'm in. I think where it's just like it seems like someone that could have been a probably one of the better Japanese fighters in UFC history,
And also,
especially in the UFC, especially at flyweight. But it just seems like through their own actions, they've ruined
Leslie
that.
Smith. Yeah, she fought Leslie Smith and Misha Tate both in not Rise in UFC. She fought two high level people.
At bantamweight, they're both at bantamweight.
Yeah, yeah. So she was undersized. I mean, say what you will, she didn't get finished by them, so that's at least positive. But you detailed the stories of why apparently she did not get a third fight. It's very rare to be cut by UFC for
We had a 2-fight contract. Yeah,
it's very rare, very very rare. So you have to do something that makes them want to get rid of you.
well, they didn't cut her. She only had a 2-fight contract.
She didn't.
No, remember Shu said she like demanded to have a 2-fight contract.
Didn't they come back to her and like they tried to like do like a more fights, and then
I think initially the first offer was for a longer contract, and they demanded a shorter contract for some reason.
They demanded I thought it was her who demanded, or
no, they demanded a shorter contract because didn't somebody say that like she didn't want to be tied down or something?
I mean, that's what you do when you get to UFC.
This is all
tied down to them.
All rumors, of course. Don't know the actual story of what happened, but yeah, where there's smoke, there's fire. So
yeah, I mean, but yeah, she's gonna. Listen, I mean, it's a good thing she's from Iridium.
Yeah,
Iridium could get her into PFL and Bellator.
Yeah, and I think she said in the post-fight interview, she's gonna let them pick whatever fight, and she'll do it.
I'll believe it when I see it. And also, by the way, as well, it's weird that she had to read her off her post-fight speech on a postcard note or whatever on like a little
that was weird.
Like yeah,
it was like an Oscar acceptance speech. All right, let's wrap it up. So, what were your final thoughts on the show, and where can people find you?
I thought this was a good Deep Jewel show. A good start to 2023. We seem to have the story of I think overall is potential future talents as well as comebacks. And yeah, I don't know if I give it a letter grade. I think this is a solid B plus maybe. Where can people reach me? We Are Rizin Podcast is on YouTube, Stitcher, SoundCloud, all that good shit. And also Twitter is We Are Rizin Pod. And I also write for MMA Sucker. And yeah, that's basically it.
Perfect. Well, thanks for coming on. It was a pleasure talking to you. And I'd also like to thank Sarah once again for hopping in and chatting with us a little bit.
Right. Yeah, Sarah too, or whichever Sarah this is.
Foodie Sarah. is what we're gonna call her.
Booty Sarah. That's it. Yeah, Booty Sarah.
Well,